Hey folks, it's Abby and I have a ridiculous number of books that I have hauled in the past 3 months. Before I start, I'm going to say that 1, I'm not moving from this spot. I like to try and move around to make things interesting for you when I film the videos. I'm not moving these books. So we're going to sit here for this one. And secondly, a lot of these were gifted to me, whether that is by wonderful friends and family or by Book Break, who single-handedly are destroying my ability to go through my TBR, and I love them for it. So it will be mentioned down the bottom here if it has been gifted to me by Book Break or by anyone else who is in a publisher capacity, not just friends and family. Also, there will pop up a little lock symbol for each and every book. Yes, each and every book. I don't know why I do this, but I do. And that means, if I put it up now, in the description I have the content warnings for this. I have a mass content warning spreadsheet, essentially, and that is always linked down below, so please do go and check it if you need this for any of these books. Dear God. Let me count them first, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25, which simultaneously isn't that bad, but also, like, the top book's just here, guys. And this is 2 stacks. Let's dive in. First up we have One Small Step by Paul Sinton-Hewitt, and this is a non-fiction all about the man who started the park run movement. If you're not in Europe, which is where this predominantly is, and the UK and South Africa, this is a 5k that happens in parks around the countries and it's free to enter. You just turn up and run and you get a time. And it's the story of kind of how this developed, how this came to be, how it helped people, and it's actually a really interesting read, and I'm going to be passing this one on to my mum, who is a runner. Both of my parents are, but my mum will enjoy this more than my dad. Then for one I've not read, I'm going to keep a little not read tally in this A corner, I think this one, so you can see how many of the 25 I've not actually gotten to. This is the first one, and it is Careless People by Sarah Wynn-Williams. I need to pick this up. I really need to pick this up. I've just not had the chance with other arcs and things that have come through. This is a non-fiction about a woman who is exposing Facebook. You have probably seen this all over your timeline when it first originally was published, which was a couple months ago now, obviously, given that it was April, wasn't it? It was April, and I am annoyed that I've not gotten to this one yet. I really want to. The chapters are nice and short, which is always good for me. This is going to be the problem. I have a full TBR. I'm filming this like mid-August. I have read this one, and that is We Are Not Numbers, The Voices of Gaza's Youth. This is edited by Ahmed, Alnaouq and Pam Bailey. This was such a touching read, as everyone would expect. We have stories in here written from, I believe, 2014 is the first year for the stories. 2015. We have short stories written by youth living in Gaza, both just about general life and also about struggling. Do more when they're being oppressed and killed in this way. I think it's really important to actually listen to the voices that are inside this, I don't even know what to call it, genocide zone? It's not a war zone. It's really important to listen to the voices that actually come from there, not just from Western creators and stuff like that. So highly, highly recommend this one. This one was sent to me by Penguin. Thank you so much, folks. Book Break again, What a Girl Wants by Roxy Bourdillon. So she is the editor of Diva, which I had to look at because I am unfortunately straight, and that is an LGBTQ+ magazine, so was not aware. However, this is about her life, how she came to realise her sexuality, how it impacted her throughout her life, how she ended up in the job that she's in. It's a memoir, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's really well written. I love seeing representation from northern folks. She's from Leeds, and I just had a great time with this memoir of someone discovering themselves. Then The Sun Blessed Prince by Lindsey, Byrd. Thank you, Book Break. This one I love. This is the first book in a duology, I believe it's going to be, and it has the slowest burn of romances. I had it described to me by someone as a romantasy. They're still not together. It is not a romantasy. It's a fantasy that just happens to have 2 characters who kind of like each other and might get together in the second book, we can hope. The 2 sons of the monarchs in these 2 warring realms, and we have the political tensions. There is both kind of like dark and light magic in here. It's just so well written. I was utterly absorbed into this world, and I am ridiculously excited for the second book, which just had the cover reveal on Instagram. I died. Then Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky. When I first picked this up, I thought it might be similar to the Murderbot series. It is and it isn't. We have robots. They are a bit sassy. That's the only link. This one, instead, we're in a world where we, as humans, came to rely heavily on robots, and then this robot malfunctions slightly and ends up in the wide world and is trying to, you know, be signed up with another human to serve them, because that's what their code says that they want to do, and they can't find any other humans in this wasteland that is Earth. I loved it. Another one I loved, Damned by Genevieve Cogman. This is the third and final book in the first book, Scarlet. Is it the Scarlet Revolution trilogy? I love this trilogy. It's vampires set during French Revolution times. We are following a young girl who was a servant in a vampire's household in the upper class at this time, and she actually looks a bit like Marie Antoinette, and so ends up being included in this rebel faction that's mainly filled with upper class posh people who are trying to save people's lives. And it's a really fun series filled with magic and some romance and vampires. It's a really fun series. One Yellow Eye by Leigh Radford. This is a pandemic-y book, so based in London. They've just come through a pandemic and apparently everyone's okay, and anyone who had the virus has been killed. And that's not true. Our main character has her husband locked and chained up in their bedroom because she thinks that she can save him somehow, or wait until there's a vaccine out to give it to him. And this is her story of her, she is a scientist, and so she is trying to develop this vaccine, and she also of course has her husband there trying to save his life, but she can't let anyone know he's there, and it's the combination of all of those things going on at once. Very good. Very good. Not Just a Period by Dr. Hazel Wallace. This is one that I imagine, I haven't read it yet, it's on the not yet read list, I imagine everyone with a uterus that functions should read. Some people have uteruses that don't uteri, so this is what's normal and what's not, how to optimise your health and performance across your cycle, how to navigate changes, and best ways to speak to health professionals to advocate for yourself. Now, I'm currently on the depot injection, so I have not had a period in a while. It took me a decade to find a contraception that would do that. Honestly, I'm vibing with it. But regardless, this is still how my body would function without that injection, so I want to read it and learn more, both for myself and my fellow uterus havers. Then, Race to Death by Lee Russell. A very different vibe. This one was gifted to me by my other half when he was emptying out his shelves, purely because this is set in York, which is where we live and where he's from. It's a mystery thriller thing, so it should be quite a quick read when I do eventually get to it. This is all I know. A man plummets to his death during the York races. Is it a suicide or a murder? And the killer is following the investigation far more keenly than newly promoted DI Ian Patterson realises, and time is running out as the case suddenly gets a lot closer to home. So it should be a fun read. One I'm in the middle of reading is Don Quixote, or I can't remember how Celine from Stuff Celine Reads says it. They say it very differently in France. Don Quixote in English by Cervantes. I have read up to here by myself, and by the time this video comes out we will have started buddy reading from here with Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe. She had already read book 1 in the bind up, and we are going to be reading this as our big classic for the year, so I am very excited to delve further into this. It's so weird. It's so weird. I'm not going to count this in the not read, because I just haven't finished it, so it's going to go in a pile all on its own, which is what it deserves. Then I had some vouchers to spend, so I decided to treat myself to the rest of the currently published Murderbot books that were out and I didn't own. So we have System Collapse and Fugitive Telemetry. I haven't read these yet. I am trying to save them so that I don't just blast through them. I want to have some Murderbot on my shelves to look forward to, but I have read Network Effect. These are all by Martha Wells, and the first Murderbot book is following a security unit that has managed to disable its governor module, and instead of going wild it ends up just saving humans from their idiotic selves and watching soap operas on TV. A vibe. A vibe. Back to book break again for the next 3 books. So 18 by Alice Loxton. This is a 18-chaptered book written about various people known throughout history when they were 18 years old. So the first one is the Venerable Bede. We have Lady Elizabeth, as in Elizabeth I. We have Horace Nelson, but we also have people that you might not have heard of: Elise Inglis, Vita Sackville West, Jack Lewis. I didn't enjoy the last chapter in this one. The 18th chapter, instead of being another person, is you! And as a 28-year-old, stop reminding me that my life has been useless. But if you are giving this to someone who is 18 or a bit younger, a bit older, it's meant to be inspirational. But I did really enjoy all of the other chapters. I enjoyed learning about people that I had never heard of. It's very diverse in here, people of different races, different genders, different abilities, different sexualities. Other than that final chapter, I really like this book. Alchemy and a Cup of Tea by Rebecca Thorne. I love this series. The first book is Can't Spell Tourism Without Tea. It's a cozy fantasy. You've got two women, one who is the head of alchemy in one country and the other who is the head of the Queen's Guard in a different country, and they love each other but they can't be together, but they decide screw it, they're going to be together, and they open a tea shop and it's in Dragon Country. I love this series. I'm so glad, so sad it's over. I need more. Another one that I loved is Behind Frenemy Lines by Zen Cho. Who am I and why have I read a romance book and enjoyed it? I love all of Zen Cho's writing. She's fantastic. This one is self-explanatory as for the title. It is a enemy to lovers situation. Not enemies. It says frenemy, and that's accurate. Empress and Aniya. This is a contemporary with a slight fantastical twist by Candice Carty-Williams. There are two 16-year-old girls who both go to this fancy private school, one on a scholarship, one whose parents pay. They are both black girls in London, and they end up swapping lives on their 16th birthday for just one day and experiencing what the other one has to live with. And I really enjoy this. It's a great way of exploring privilege and how you don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Yeah, really good book. The Kamogawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. I am really looking forward to this one. This is from an unhaul from the wonderful Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, and I love these sorts of books. So the only reason this isn't already read is that I'm trying to not just immediately devour it, and that is a similar case with More Days at the Murasaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, translated by Eric Ozawa. This is the second book in a series. Where's the first one? Not grabbable. But I read it last month as of filming and really enjoyed it. It is about a young girl who ends up quitting her job and staying with her uncle in his bookshop just to kind of get back on her feet, and how the books and the people around her help her understand herself better. Then more romance books. A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. This one is one I've heard a lot about and it sounds like a lot of fun. So it's an American woman, I believe. Yeah, she's from the US, and she keeps getting these emails that she is due to be married to a Nigerian prince, and she's like, right. No, she is. So that sounds like a lot of fun. My Grandfather, The Master Detective by Masatoru Konishi. Does it say who it's translated by? The translator's important! Translated by Louise Heel Kawaii. Wonderful. And this is, I've not read this one, this is not your average grandpa. As a lover of classic crime stories, it's no surprise that schoolteacher Kaede encourages everyday mysteries more often than your typical 27-year-old. Solving them is another matter though, for that she turns to her beloved grandfather. From impossible locked room murders to confounding missing persons cases, the grandfather-granddaughter duo weave stories to get to the bottom of every mystery, but all the while an insidious shadow forms from Kaede's past, slowly closes in on. I think this is going to be absolutely up my street. I am so excited to read it. This is another one that I'm like holding off on because it doesn't publish until November, and I want my thoughts to be fresh when it publishes, but like, oh. One that I will be reading in August, and that is The Cutthroat Trial by S.J. Fleet, also known as The Secret Barrister. This is their first foray into a novel rather than a non-fiction. It is, of course, a mystery, and The Secret Barrister is an active barrister in the UK who keeps himself anonymous for obvious reasons, who has written 3 non-fiction books about the state of the criminal system and the judgment system in the UK, and they have now written a mystery thriller. I'm looking forward to this one. There's 3 17-year-old boys accused of a brutal murder of an elderly teacher on New Year's Eve. They all deny it, they all point the finger at the others, and you've got to figure out who actually committed the crime. Then one that was sent to me unsolicited, so I don't know as much about it, is Juice by Tim Winton, which is a very interesting looking book. 2 fugitives, a man and a child, drive across a stony desert. As dawn breaks, they roll into an abandoned mine site. It's a forsaken place but the most promising refuge they've seen, and it's all they have. The problem is they're not alone. So begins a searing journey through life where the challenge is not only to survive, it's keeping your humanity if you do. And then the final one is 3 Shattered Souls by Mike Corland. I loved 5 Broken Blades. I still have not read 4 Ruined Realms. I really need to. This is the Goldsborough special edition that I got years ago now for the first one, and you can carry on getting the rest. This edition is beautiful. Look at it, look at it. And I am very excited for this one because I really did like the first book, so looking forward to that. The stacks, I know you can't see them. I'm not going to show you because this is a mess. The stacks look similar sizes. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 books each. I have read half of them, so this is the unread stack. And obviously the red stack is about the same size, as if I've read half of them. I feel like that's decent. That's decent. I'm getting through my actual TBR as well as, oh, don't fall, as well as reading the new books that are coming in. Ta-da! And then, of course, that makes 24, so the 25th book is Don Quixote. I don't know where to put it down, there's no space on my desk. So that is my mid-year book haul. As always, I've gotten in far too many books so far this year. I'll put that number up on screen now because I don't know how many were in the last haul. This is a fair amount of books. And I hope I will get through a fair amount of the 12 I've not read are shorter books, and I've just been keeping them purposefully, so I feel like that's not so bad. But I'm looking forward to getting through them all. Please let me know out of the 12 that I haven't read if any of them I need to prioritise and move up my TBR list sooner rather than later. I would love to know. Let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts on them were, and what is the book that you most recently hauled in. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!